served on a platter for that right hand right there. And look at Jake Paul's face. He knew it right away. He said, woo!
Declaring your winner by knockout, AJ Anthony.
Times early in the first round, Flush didn't even flinch. You see that tonight? That was an absolute abomination, if that is even a word, because that is a monster. The #1 heavyweight in the world.
AJ's a banger. Listen to the it's over, isn't it? Yeah. Just like you can see there. Looks perfect. Big props to AJ. Deserved it, isn't it?
John, can I get you as well? Can I get your reaction?
This is how the Fury fight should have went.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh my fucking God!
Oh my!
What did we just witness there? We witnessed professional, world-class Olympic champion, 2-time unified heavyweight champion.
But he wasn't ready for Anthony Joshua because Anthony Joshua was a different thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just he's got more one-shot knockout
It was
power.
bad game
He took it
plan
more
as well,
seriously
though.
too.
Supposed to happen. There's no way. Even if Anthony Joshua is not in tip-top shape.
He's out! He's out! Big AJ! Big Nigerian! Big Nigerian! Let's go! Listen! I told you!
I know.
He's bad.
I told you!
The atmosphere in the arena was nothing short of electric, a palpable tension that hung heavy in the air before exploding into a cacophony of disbelief and roaring approval as the main event reached its devastating conclusion. It is over. The phrase echoed through the commentary booth and rippled out across the millions watching worldwide. It wasn't just a victory. It was a statement, a definitive answer to months of speculation, trash talk, and marketing hype. As the dust settled, the realization hit everyone watching. Anthony Joshua is indeed a banger. The skepticism that had clouded the build-up to this fight evaporated the moment that final right hand connected. You could see it in the eyes of the spectators, a mixture of shock and awe.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. The only thing we should have been talking about is the what if.
I always say you lot make a big deal out of it when people lose. When you win, it's just on to the next. You lot, when you lose, that's when it...
It looked perfect. The timing, the precision, the sheer kinetic energy transferred from glove to chin. It was the kind of finish that reminds the world why heavyweight boxing is the crown jewel of combat sports. The reaction was instantaneous. Big pops from the crowd. A wall of sound that engulfed the ring. This was AJ, wasn't it? This was the vintage destroyer that fans had been yearning to see return, the Olympian.
Very impressive display, done it in absolute style. Tremendous punching power, good jab.
Anthony Joshua absolutely nails him with a big right hand. I did not expect to see that, but Anthony Joshua, fair play to AJ. He's gone in there and he's done professional boxing proud.
The unified champion, the man who carries the weight of British boxing on his shoulders. And the immediate aftermath. The cameras scrambled to catch the raw, unfiltered reactions of those ringside, and the shock was visceral. Voices clamored over one another, trying to process the brutality of what had just transpired.
Wow. I had picked Joshua to win, and one of the things I thought from a technical standpoint to look for was in the fight against Fury, he showed a terrific counter left hook.
"Oh my God," was the repeated refrain, a mantra of disbelief that circulated among the experts and pundits. The question hung in the air. What did we just witness? It wasn't merely a fight. It was a reality check. We witnessed a professional, world-class Olympic champion, a 2-time unified heavyweight king, stepping into the ring and reminding everyone that there are levels to this game.
You're a classless loser, coming off a 15 months knockout defeat to a local lad. Imagine if someone from Morecambe knocked me out.
Johnny.
The narrative leading up to the bout had suggested that perhaps Jake Paul, with his youthful exuberance and disruptive presence, could upset the established order. But the reality was starkly different. He simply wasn't ready for Anthony Joshua. This was a different version of AJ, a beast unleashed. He brought more one-shot knockout power than we have seen in years, and more importantly, he took the challenge seriously. There was no complacency, no underestimation. Just cold, hard focus. Even the skeptics were forced to eat their words. Tyson Fury, the self-proclaimed Gypsy King, and a man never short of an opinion, was visibly stunned. The cameras caught him in a moment of rare silence, his usual bravado stripped away by the efficiency of Joshua's performance. He had to admit, albeit grudgingly, that Joshua was a different animal tonight. Wow, was all he could initially muster. He had picked Joshua to win, but the manner of the victory, the absolute dismantling of the opponent, was something even he hadn't fully calculated. From a technical standpoint, Fury noted the catalog of punches Joshua displayed. It was a masterclass in offensive diversity. "This is exactly how the Fury fight should work," the pundits whispered. "This is how it should be." The conversation shifted instantly from, if Joshua could win, to the tantalizing, what if, regarding a future showdown between Joshua and Fury. The performance was so dominant that it reignited the flames of that potential super fight, making it feel not just possible, but necessary. The criticism of the boxing public is often harsh and fickle. As one commentator noted, people make a huge deal out of it when a fighter loses, dissecting every flaw and failure. But when you win, it's often dismissed as on to the next. Yet, tonight was different. Tonight, the victory was so emphatic that it demanded respect. Joshua did it in absolute style. There were tremendous punches thrown, but it all started with the foundation of a good jab. That piston-like left hand set the table for the chaos that followed. And then came the moment that will be replayed on highlight reels for decades. Anthony Joshua absolutely nailing his opponent with a massive right hand. It was a shot that carried the frustration of recent losses, the weight of expectations, and the sheer power of an elite heavyweight. Even seasoned analysts admitted they did not expect to see such a definitive, crushing blow. But fair play to AJ. He went in there and did professional boxing proud, restoring a sense of order to a sport that has felt increasingly chaotic. This result was, in many ways, what was supposed to happen. The laws of physics and experience dictate that a seasoned champion should dismantle a novice, regardless of the hype. Even if Anthony Joshua wasn't in tip-top shape, though he clearly was, the gap in skill was always going to be insurmountable. The moment Joshua decided it was time to end it, the fight was effectively over. "He's out," screamed the commentary team, followed by the inevitable "I told you so." The vindication for the boxing purists was sweet. Tyson Fury, usually the one doing the mocking, found himself on the receiving end of the narrative shift. He looked visibly stunned after Joshua dismantled Jake Paul. The same man who had doubted Joshua's killer instinct and perhaps overhyped Paul's chances of survival now looked shocked. He admitted he almost predicted it right, having called for a one-round demolition, but the fact that it went longer only served to highlight Joshua's patience before the storm. Joshua's performance proved his power and skill were intact, showing the world why he remains a top heavyweight and a real champion in the ring. The post-fight analysis was ruthless. Johnny Nelson, never one to mince words, did not hold back on Tyson Fury. He pointed out the visible frustration on Fury's face, mocking how the Gypsy King was left speechless by Joshua's dominance. It was a poignant observation. Fury had spent months belittling Joshua, calling him a classless loser coming off a knockout defeat, asking the world to imagine the shame if a local lad had knocked him out. But tonight, that rhetoric fell flat. The criticism hit hard because it highlighted that Fury's pre-fight arrogance had backfired spectacularly. He was forced to swallow his own shock at Joshua's clear superiority. The breakdown of the fight revealed that Joshua landed flush 4 or 5 times early in the first round, shots that would have felled lesser men, yet he didn't even flinch. He remained composed. The finish, however, was described as an absolute abomination, a word used to convey the scary, monstrous nature of the knockout. It was a reminder that the #1 heavyweight in the world is a dangerous proposition for anyone, let alone a crossover star. David Haye, a man who knows a thing or two about heavyweight power, expressed a mixture of shock and validation. He admitted he didn't fully expect Joshua to dominate so thoroughly. He had hoped for it, but the reality exceeded the expectation. He contrasted this result with the hype Fury had created, highlighting that Joshua delivered on a level no one anticipated. The reaction from Hay underscored how Anthony Joshua's skill, composure, and experience dismantled expectations and left seasoned pros genuinely impressed. "I kinda hoped it, but I expected that with Tyson Fury," Hay admitted. The result was what he expected Tyson to do to opponents, yet here was Joshua, executing the game plan with ruthless efficiency. Showbiz, another vocal voice in the community, emphasized this ruthless efficiency. He described how Jake Paul was hit with such precision it left him unable to recover. Every strike was methodical and merciless, showcasing Joshua's mentality of complete dominance. The commentary highlighted that Joshua's power and focus left no room for mercy. "Chris ain't getting up from that one," they yelled. "That was dumb. He hit him right off the temple." The description of the final blow was chilling. AJ hit him like he didn't give a damn about his well-being. It was a raw, primal display of violence where Joshua was like, bam. He didn't care about the safety of his opponent. He only cared about the destruction. Daniel Cormier, crossing over from the world of MMA to commentate, praised Joshua's performance, noting that he made the fight look effortless. To the untrained eye, it might have looked like a struggle in the early moments due to the pacing, but Cormier saw the truth. Jake Paul appeared completely outmatched. The skill gap was a chasm. Cormier's observation reinforced the idea that Anthony Joshua is not only dominant physically, but also technically superior. He was effortlessly dismantling an opponent who was nowhere near his level, leaving the world stunned by his mastery. "Joshua looked good, dude," Cormier said, repeating it for emphasis. "He looked good right off. Joshua actually looked like he was fighting a guy that was not." The sentence trailed off, the implication clear. He looked like a master fighting a novice.